Ready? Yeah! Back again! That was a good impression of the Podfather, actually.
Yeah, that was,
Episode 10!
Episode 10!
What? Welcome to the 3 for 3 podcast.
Turn me up in my headphones.
This is the only scorekeeping pod that demands a trade only to be cut for salary cap purposes. That's all right. That's okay. You know
That's what we do.
We cashing checks, snapping necks.
Yeah,
That's what we do. As you see, we are still without our fearless leader, Podfather, Alex Gullett. Again, he'll probably be back episode 11, 12. It's a lot calmer. The 3 for 3.
He's only here so you don't get fined, and he's willing to take the fines this week.
That's it. He's taking the fines.
He's out for personal reasons. He's got some family stuff going on, and guess what? We're a team and we support each other. So get back when you can. We'll hold it down.
Listen,
for you.
When you're 2 for 3, that's still a Hall of Fame career.
Hey, listen,
2 or 3 is still you're batting.
Tell me what sport?
67%.
Yeah,
we're hitting 67% from the 3.
Are we shooting 67%?
We are.
Are we hitting? Only thing that doesn't do good with is free throws.
Yeah, but you know what? If you're a Dallas Cowboys kicker, that's looking pretty good.
Wow.
2 for 3 is looking pretty good.
Wow.
I am your scorekeeper, voice of reason, Mr. Calm, Mr.
Conciliary.
Conciliary, the guy who's going to bash the New Jersey Jets and Giants.
What are you when you like water? You're a what?
I have no idea.
Or you're a wine.
You're a sommelier?
A sommelier. A sommelier, yeah. He's the podcast sommelier.
I am joined by Frank Coach LaFada. Again, you might know him from Charlotte County basketball extraordinaire.
Or baseball.
Either one. Speaking of youth sports, today's podcast we're going to be talking about youth sports. You got a couple youth sports coaches right here, so we're going to have that discussion. We're going to talk a little bit. We have some fan questions.
Sweet.
That we got from, all kinds of stuff from the Facebook. Check us out, 3 for 3 podcast, from TikTok, from Facebook, from people walking up to us.
From the gram.
From the emails, 3for3pod@gmail.com.
Yep.
If those of you guys are on the interwebs. But first, like usual, how you doing, Coach?
Super. Now that we're here. For those who don't know, we do a podcast, and we do it because we want to.
We do it because we want to. We think we know more about sports than people because we normally do.
And let's be honest.
Specifically or generally?
We don't know more than you.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we absolutely do.
And guess what? It's by a lot. Most human beings. That's probably why we have the podcast. We got tired of just knowing a little bit more than the average person, and we want to share our knowledge.
Idiot trolls talking about how, dude, Russ, it's not even his fault with the Lakers. Like, I know he can't hit 3-pointers, he can't hit free throws, and he has turnovers at the end of the game. Still, top 2-point guard all time.
You know what's funny about this?
Triple doubles, man.
You know what's funny about this? We really don't know more than anybody else. We just have a podcast, so we're allowed to say what we want.
We are absolutely. I disagree. We absolutely do know more. And if you think you know more than us, prove me wrong. Interact with us, and so I can
try it.
Listen, I'll try
it. This is easy.
Call me Chimney. I want all the smoke. Bring it.
If you think this is easy, try it.
Like we said last episode. Listen, I'll be Shannon Sharp. That's fine. Yeah. I'll take the smoke. You don't want none of this.
Be Ed Reed.
Don't want none of Ed Reed. We're going to talk about Ed Reed today.
Be Dion. Do it if I dare you.
We're going to talk about Ed Reed. But
Good
first, just a little background. A little getting to know the 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I've coached youth sports, coached varsity, JV, and middle school baseball, coached middle school basketball. Frank, you've coached youth league baseball. You're coaching youth league basketball now.
I've been a fantasy football coach for like 18 years.
Those little men. It's not me. It's those little men in the computer.
Alex was a former youth football coach.
Yeah.
Don't know if you know that.
I did know that. We talked about it. Yeah, we've talked about it before. It's so our first discussion is going to be based on that because there's a lot of questions and a lot of things going on with youth sports today.
My gosh.
With AAU, with all kinds of stuff that's going on crazy, both locally and nationwide.
Yeah.
So you're a couple weeks in for basketball.
Yep.
What's been the hardest thing? What's been the hardest thing about being a youth league coach?
I don't think it's been hard at all lately. And what I mean by that is I think that everything is going to, from my point of view of coaching, it's only as hard as you make it. So if you're putting pressure on yourself to win championships as a youth league coach, you're a loser. I'm just going to say it out loud. Huh? If you walk into a thing saying, we got to win champions no matter what, and you're willing to make sacrifices with kids in a game where they pay to play, you're a loser. There's a good expectation. Winning is a part of the game, and winning is what you should try to do. I am not saying that that's what we don't do, but at the same time, I am also saying these are little kids. 99% of these kids, more than that, 99.99% probably percent of these youth league kids,
it's a lot of percent, will
never, ever, ever get paid a single cent for ever playing a sport.
Right.
So what are you really doing?
Yeah, I do think winning matters. I think there's a reason. If winning doesn't matter, why do we keep score, right?
Yeah.
So I do think winning matters. I do think that the winners deserve trophies, and no, the losers don't. Sorry, you didn't earn that. But I think the hardest part for me has been this idea of trying to get through to the team that I'm not going to treat you all equal. Like that's equality does not exist in terms of youth sports. Yeah. I'm going to treat you all fair.
Yes.
Fair versus equal is a discussion that I have with my players, with my middle school baseball players. That it's the same discussion I had with my varsity level players. It's the same thing. It's what you need, I'm going to give you as an individual person. Some kids I need to grab around the scruff of the neck and be a little rough with them and say, hey man, like, quit messing around. Like, you're acting like an idiot. Quit doing this, because they respond. And then I know some kids, if I did that to them, they would shatter and break. Some people are made of steel. Some people are made of glass. So you have to treat each kid individually.
And I think it's important to note. So you going back to the question you asked me, what's been hard? The reason why I go back. So my first point was if you're in to win especially in rec league, if you're in to win championships, boy, you're something else. You need to do some push-ups and just go play ball yourself. This is not a place for you. It is not meant for you. There is no one that has the LeBron James on their team.
Right.
No one. LeBron James is not on your team. I'm sorry. And they might be a good player and they might translate into it. But if you treat him like LeBron James, you're probably going to make sure he never plays basketball.
Right.
And even in high school. It just is what it is. So for me, purposely, why it's not been hard, I was setting clear expectations from the get.
Yeah.
If you are a parent of a kid that wants to win every game, then you might need to go to another team. I am not going to teach certain things just to win. I've been a part of a baseball team when I was in youth league where we hit the ball to the third baseline every time, because the third base person could not throw you out if you ran down the line.
Yep.
I will not teach a game that way. I will not play that way. I don't care if I lose every single game. All the kids are going to play even. We're all going to get a fair share. Everybody did a great job. You showed up. You hustled. Guess what? You showed up. You exercised. You worked with other people.
Yep.
You did a great job. Award-winning, clapping. I don't know the button, so I'm not going to hit it because I'm not the podfather. Top right? No. That's what I did.
For it too.
He did. If you showed up to the game and you tried your hardest, you gave me effort. You went through some adversity and you came out. So your son Mason went to a game.
Yes.
And he got hit with the ball, which is his fear. And guess what? He was struggling with showing effort.
Yes.
Because he got hit with the ball, and it's just the one thing he did not want to happen.
Listen, my son Mason, this is his first year in organized sports. He's 10 years old. He wanted to try basketball, which great, it's very exciting for me. Very exciting.
Yes.
So it's seeing, so you have two youth coaches and you also have two youth parents, and he got hit in the head, and you could tell it was like, man, okay, that didn't feel good. This isn't supposed to happen. So, and he took a breather, and
the chances of Mason being Michael Jordan are zero.
Yeah, he's not going to be Michael B. Jordan, maybe.
Yeah, the chances of
not Michael A. Jordan.
The chances of him making a difference in human beings' lives are immense.
Yeah, I think so.
Like we watched. So what was the show you recommended to me?
So HBO Sports has the Trophy Kids.
If you 99% of every human being that I know have never watched it.
It's
the only 1%. He's sitting right here. He turned me onto the show, and it was a NFL quarterback. I don't even know what his name was.
Yeah.
Do you remember his name?
No.
He played in the NFL. So his dad and him had a tumultuous relationship.
Former Washington, I think he was a Washington Husky QB or DB.
He played for the Oakland Raiders.
Yep.
And he talks about what a bad childhood he had, and he turned to drugs and alcohol and everything. Yep. And he literally says, "Do you think?" So everybody wants their kid to play for the NFL, the NBA, MLB, whatever it is. But he goes, honestly, it's just having being an electrical engineer or being a whatever. Yeah. What is wrong with that type of life? He goes, if you want me just to be happy and have a good living, I would have been happier and had a better living just doing something like that.
Yeah,
that it's nobody. Look at the NFL. How many smiles do you see on the sideline?
Yeah, not many.
Outside of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, probably zero, or maybe Stephon Diggs. Yeah. Other than that, everybody's a ball of stress. Yeah. It's always contract year for 90% of every NFL team.
It's a different intensity level.
Yeah.
And that's not what youth league sports is about.
No, it's not.
We've had I've been fortunate, the coach, the guy who coaches my son plays everybody. And again, my son has never played basketball before and he plays half the game.
Yep.
And all the kids on the team play.
Yep.
Now I understand that, middle school sports, JV sports, varsity sports is a little different. Middle school sports in our region, in the, SMSCC conference, everybody's required to play. That play might be...
It's a lot of letters.
It is. It might be an at-bat. It might be a pinch run. It might be... You might not play a lot, but everybody's required to play. Now, as that goes on to JV and varsity level, that's not a requirement.
Yep.
So I treated things very differently. I always had almost like a contract that I hand out with expectations, which is kind of what you did before your season in your parent meeting, is you tell everybody, hey guys, this is what we're doing. This is how the season's going to go. These are how expectations are. And I learned a lesson the hard way. I had assistant coaches, and I coached under varsity coaches who didn't have something like that. And then when a parent came and had a meeting and said, why isn't my left-handed senior kid playing shortstop? And we said, well, because he can't play shortstop. Because shocking, your left-handed kid is.
Here's your sign.
Let me see how many left-handed shortstops are in baseball in major leagues.
Wait, it's because it's not a position for a lefty-handed player.
Come on,
it's not about ability, guys.
There's a reason your kid played outfield, and that's when the ball's slowly moving on the ground.
Left-handers are really good for certain things.
Yeah, first base.
It's not shortstop.
Let's see how you're doing at first base. Let's see how you're doing in the outfield. You know what? We could even, in some cases, you can catch.
Can you throw?
It's
because you're a pitcher now.
It was just wild. But so expectations, I think the hardest part is relaying expectations to players, expectations to parents. I think in the best scenario, expectations are relayed before the season starts.
Yep.
And everybody understands a role. Yep. I think when you assign roles to players and say, this is what we're looking for, this is what I think you can do. And you have to have the kid have a little bit of ownership, even younger kids. My son, Mason, it's awesome to watch him out there and play defense because he is the most literal kid, and his Uncle Frank cracks up because he is the most literal kid ever. He's the best. He is Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. You can't throw this over my head. I'm too quick. So he goes out there, and I call him BB, Bubba Baller, or Velvet Rope, because he's out there arms up, and he's on you. He
on offense.
And it doesn't matter if it's during a timeout or inbound or no, he's on you. So Luke was that way. Your youngest was that way when he played defense on you.
He did. He was that way.
I'm face guarding. He looked like a shadow.
She was 64 feet away from the ball. It was a little girl, and she had no chance of getting the ball. But you know what? There was a shadow. I was inside her shadow, Dad.
She didn't get the ball.
No, she did not. She was very frustrated.
So, what's the best part of being a youth coach? Because we have a lack of youth coaches out there. So, tell the people what's the best part.
What is the best part? I don't know. I get so much enjoyment from it personally.
Yeah.
That it's hard to pick a best part. I really don't care. Like again, winning doesn't matter to me. I think. When I see a kid make a random shot from 1 foot away and they're like, oh my gosh, It's just little things like that when I see a kid improving, and then because how many kids will you be able to affect if it's the first time they've ever dribbled with their left hand and they make it up the court, they pivot and turn without picking the ball up, and then make it back. Yeah. And then they did something that took almost 99% of their mental and physical ability.
Yeah.
And then somebody was like, oh my gosh, that is awesome. Look at you. They tried something. These kids nowadays they feel more pressure from external sources now than they ever have.
Parents,
and
friends.
Guess what? It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, agreed.
And they get less praise now. Not because the parents are praising less, but because they have so many other sources attacking them at the same time.
Yes.
So when you do the percentage-wise, outside of parents and close relatives, what other human being do they look up to that gives them praise?
Yeah. Teachers, coaches.
I don't need a 3.0 grade average. I don't know what the requirements for the SME, SSS, LPC.
2.0. 2.0. There's a couple failed.
How many 1.5 athletes can't play that play in this league, that are in a rec league, that maybe they're not. Maybe school isn't for them because
It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
A students teach B students how to work for C students is one of those famous lines, and I don't think it's exactly real. But my point is, if it at all is truth, how many of them C/D students are playing rec league basketball and they're looking for encouragement? And I've seen rec league coaches just rip and yell and tear, and they're like, "Yeah, we want a tough coach." Da da da. No, these kids are at the formative age of their lives. Yes. They're going to reciprocate the energy that is given to them for the rest of their lives. Yeah. And if you teach, I'm not saying that you don't need to be some tough. I'm not saying they don't need to be like, "Hey, you're being a knucklehead.
Right.
Get yourself together."
Yes.
But what I'm saying is like, if a kid has given their all and they're out there, they're in, like, every kid, if you're alone and dribbling a ball on a court and there's 70 or 80 people in a game watching you, you feel every eye on you. I don't care what kid you are. The fact that you got it out there, you need high praise more often than any. You are stepping out. So Mason, we're going to keep bringing him up because for him playing this year is like, he stepped on the court. He might as well have won a World Series in my mind. That's how I feel about the kid. That's how I don't know what the word I am looking for. It's how proud I am of him for taking the chance and doing it. The point is for him, so he's more of an introverted kid. I'm not saying anything that's not real. He's extroverted in normal things.
He's not athletically inclined.
No.
He's not a fan of sports. He doesn't want to go
out of his box.
This is completely out of character for him.
And he's trying because he's got cousins that play basketball, and he wanted them to like him. They wanted to play more, wanted to be more like them, and he was doing different things. He likes basketball too. Let's not like do it. He actually likes shooting the ball and doing certain things.
He does.
It's not his cup of tea, but. No. But he is stepping out of the box into a spotlight. And when you're on the court and this is out of your box and you're out of your element, it's like public speaking for some people.
Yes.
It's the same way. If you're not a public speaker, then when you speak, it is every part of you. And when you get one person to say, no matter what,
hey man,
good job.
Good speech, yeah.
Good job.
That was great.
Oh, no, I fumbled. I stuttered. It doesn't matter, man. You know how much it took you to get up there? And you finished it, and you were eloquent, and you just say simple, nice things can affect. These kids are 10 times more affected by positive words and reinforcement. And that, for me, I guess, so what brings me joy?
Well, yeah, what's the best part?
Is that stuff. Is being able to look at a kid I know is not playing in the NBA.
Right.
But to treat him like he's like that, like, look, good job for doing what you're doing. But then I think also a good part of a coach needs to verbalize that to the kids too.
Yes.
Not say you're not going to make it to the NBA. No. I'm not killing any dreams. But to also say, hey, listen, you take tough steps now. Things you don't want to do. Things you can't do. And you do it now. There's going to be things later in life that you can do that you got to be like, man, I played basketball when I didn't want to.
Right.
I didn't want to go out there. I was upset. I wasn't getting the ball. I still did my best. I tried my hardest. And guess what? Coach said I did a good job. Because you did.
I tell my kids all the time, half of life is showing up.
Oh.
The fact that you show up to something shows that, hey, that's what you're putting.
Keanu Reeves movie?
What's the what?
Keanu Reeves movie?
Which one?
The one where he was the baseball coach.
Hardball. Hardball.
Yeah, the ability to show up is what shocks me.
Just show up, man. You just got to show up.
Some of them kids have them circumstances.
Yes.
They don't eat dinners.
All right.
In many counties across America, they are poor. The only meals they eat are at school.
Especially counties like we're in rural counties.
Yes.
It's hard to get kids out there.
They eat, and there's programs that give them food, and if they don't get those programs to get food, they eat. Sometimes they go Saturday and Sunday without eating, and the first thing they do is eat on Monday.
Hey, coach, can I have $2 for the vending machine?
You don't think that doesn't happen?
Right.
Then you haven't been paying attention.
And it's, for me, the best part is, I coached, I started coaching JV baseball when I first entered the teaching profession 15 years ago. I worked my way up to the varsity level. I was the varsity coach, built up the program from having no JV kids to where we had a middle school JV and varsity program. And then slowly, because of certain coaching circumstances, the middle school program was going to go away. And so I went from the varsity position down to middle school because I didn't want to see this program go away, because it is a feeder program. Everybody thinks varsity sports, that's the pinnacle of high school sports. Really, it is the pinnacle, but if you have no feeder program, it's going to be tough to do anything. So going back down to middle school, it was a complete game changer for me. And the best part for me is seeing two things. One, it's seeing my players progress from middle school baseball to JV to varsity baseball and stick around and not go, well, I played it 1 year, but now, I didn't want to play anymore. And the second thing is I have kids still today who I coached, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, coming up and going, man, I remember this, and this. That was great. I have kids who still constantly. I mean, I was at a basketball game the other day.
I was going to ask, was that a former player? I thought it was
at a middle school basketball game, and 4 of the players are my baseball kids, and the first thing they say is, "I can't wait for baseball." And it's not a dreaded like, oh God. Normally, as a high school teacher, you hear kids, whenever you're in a sport, you always hear about the next sport. Mm-hmm. In football season, it's, I can't wait for basketball season. In basketball season, it's, I can't wait for track season, and or baseball season. And in track and baseball season, it's, man, football next year, we are going to kill it. And you go, guys, just focus on today, focus on this sport. Yeah. So I think the best part of being a youth league coach or middle school coach is the relationships you build. Yeah. It's showing these kids that there's stuff beyond sports. Like sports is an outlet to build sportsmanship, build these young men up, in youth cases, build these young ladies up into being adults, into being grown and making decisions and fighting adversity, and not everything goes your way. So I think the best part is the kids. Now, the worst part, for me, the worst part is parents at times. Is unrealistic expectations. And I've dealt with a lot of parents who think their kid is going to be Barry Bonds, who think their kid's going to be Michael Jordan. And you tell them, hey, I had one parent who they didn't show up in an away game. We were playing in Central Lunenburg, and didn't show up. And this kid pitched 7 innings. He pitched a complete game, had 9 strikeouts, and he went 2 for 3 from the plate. And the parent was like, well, we couldn't be there for this one because we had this going on, but we'll be at the next one. And I kind of had to say, he played better when you weren't here. And this wasn't an exception. This was the rule. Like, when you come, you yell and you scream, and I get you think you're being encouraging. You're not. Like, you're being
a tough conversation.
Such a pressure filled. It's not fun, but I would want people to be honest with me. Yeah. So, I had to tell, and she disagreed, and she said, no, he always does better when I'm here. And I was like, the stats don't lie. You showed up to the game, and he didn't do well. And it's because you're hollering at him between every pitch, between every at bat, all the time. And this is, we're talking about a 17-year-old kid, talking about a 17-year-old junior in high school.
And if you don't think they're not impressionable at that age?
Oh, yes. And he hated baseball by the end of it. By the end of the season, it was, I hate it. I just can't wait for this next sport.
Well, that was the parents' last ride.
Yeah. It's
their last chance to be great.
And these parents, listen, you had your time. Your time's over. You want to go play rec league baseball, you want to go play beer league softball or something like that and still be a superstar? Awesome. Good for you. You don't need to, that's not on your kid. Like, your dreams aren't your kids' dreams.
Nope.
Figure out their dreams and help them achieve their dreams. I just, that to me, the worst part of youth league coaching is that, and then the heartbreak of you can't do it for them. You out there, you're practicing skills, you're practicing this stuff, and then when they get into a game time situation, they mess up, they feel like failures. And so it's trying to get into them like, hey, again, in life, you lose more than you win. That's okay. You either win or you learn. Mm-hmm. Those are the two options. You win or you learn.
So my oldest son wants to go to Duke. He wants to play basketball.
Shout out Duke. Yeah. Take that, Lala. No UNC here.
He wants to play basketball at one of the most prestigious basketball colleges in America, if not the most prestigious basketball college in America.
The most.
And so here's a little stat facts for some of you parents out there. 1% of all athletes will get a D1 scholarship.
Yep.
1%. 1% of that 1% is going to play at Duke.
Yep.
So you have to be 1% of 1%. My son, currently right now, is not starting for his middle school basketball team. And he's still going to go to Duke. There's no part of me that's going to say no.
Right.
There's no part of me that's going to kill that dream.
Yep.
There's no part of me that believes that dream is not coming true. The thing is that right now he sometimes doesn't believe that. But I always tell him, if you don't believe you're going to go, who's going to believe you?
Right.
So he finds his energy, his belief, his strength from me. Some parents would be like, no, you got to tell the kid real. I don't know who came up with that idea about killing dreams. I don't know who, because it's the exact opposite of what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're like, realistically, you're just not that good. Like Michael Jordan got cut in high school. All these players he went to, in 2 years, he went from getting cut to going to UNC to play under Dean Smith, winning a national championship in 2.5 years after he got cut from his team.
Third or fourth best coach of all time.
Yeah. All behind Coach K.
Coach Wooden.
Yeah. So my point from John Shire, wow, non-top 25 ranked Blue Devils. My whole point to that situation is you don't know what you're teaching your kid right now. So the worst thing you could do is be like, you know what, give up on your dream.
No.
You're struggling a little bit. My kid spends more time practicing and doing things extra because he needs to believe he can do it. Because in life, say it's not sports. Say, God forbid, he doesn't go to Duke because of whatever. Since he's wanted to go to Duke, he's not even gotten a B. He was a good student before. He's become an exemplary student since then. Why? Because he's pushing himself. We give him every tool he can to do it, but we're not going crazy on him. We're not yelling at him.
Right.
We're not doing different things. I mean, we do, encourage him. We are monitoring his grades. We're helping him out because he wants to achieve a goal.
Doing that whole parent thing.
Yeah. Wow. It's amazing.
Right.
He wants to go. He wants to achieve a goal. So along the way, I'm teaching him how to achieve the goal. Are you watching this? Are you doing that? Why? Because he is a kid. He's got emotions growing. Yep. He's learning. He's trying to think. And guess what? When they go 0 for 4 in a basketball game, if you don't think that's not the most demoralizing and crushing thing that's ever happened to them when they're trying to be a starter, you're wrong. You're wrong. They'd rather break up with 3 girlfriends in the same day than go 0 for 4 in a basketball game.
World ending.
No, it really
is.
It's
their world.
But so like at the beginning of the season, he had a bad practice. It wrecked him for 2.5 weeks. For 2.5 weeks, he had to mentally build himself. He had a bad game the other day. And what even a bad game? It was just he didn't have a great game. He didn't have an A+ game because he's been getting hot lately. It wrecked him for about 2.5 quarters. After the game, he was a little upset. By the next morning, he was over it. And I couldn't have told him I was more proud of him 47 times the next day because it was mental growth.
Yes.
And guess what? So later in life, if he's going to do something, and he's trying to go for a job. Maybe he's going to get his master's degree, maybe a doctorate degree because he's not playing. If he's not playing basketball, God forbid he's not. Or maybe he wants to go to Europe and play basketball. He's going to be. My goal is to get. I showed him throughout life that he's growing up how to put in the extra work, how to do the extra time. That if you want to be rich, it's not 9 to 5, and we're not rich. Why? Because we only work 9 to 5s. But if he wants to do different things, he's got. If you want different things than everybody else has, you got to be willing to do different things than everybody else is doing. Yeah. And if you want to have what everybody else has, just do what everybody else is doing. It's simple stuff. It's simple stuff. It's easier than anything to learn. It's harder than everything to put in practice. So if I can teach them early on, do this, do that. Don't be like me. It's hard to say sometimes as a parent, but don't be like me. If you want this, you're going to have to do A, B, C, D. It's little things like that go a long way. Just, I mean, in basketball isn't all about shooting. Baseball isn't all about hitting. Right. Baseball isn't all about playing defense. Mentally is more important than every physical part you're going to learn. Yeah. No matter what, because it's the only thing that lasts forever in that.
Yeah, I think winning takes different forms. Winning takes different forms. You know, for different kids, different forms. Winning for one kid might be getting that D1 offer. You know, a buddy of mine, his dream, his goal, his fantasy was playing West Virginia football. And he became a highly recruited player out of Florida. Played linebacker, still holds the school record for tackles. You know, second. He would get mad at me. Second in tackles. He finished 2 tackles behind. You know, the leader right there, right? And he had to sit out one game. And sure enough, he goes to West Virginia, and they said, well, you're a little undersized. You know, we'd rather you be a preferred walk-on. And he said, hey, that's awesome. He visited another campus in West Virginia Wesleyan, which is a lower division. And West Virginia Wesleyan said, hey, you can come here full ride. And he looked at it and he said, I made a business decision, you know, and I don't regret it because I left school with no debt compared to all my buddies back home who are leaving school with $80,000, $90,000, $110,000 in debt. He said, I played 4 years. It was fun. It was a great ride. I knew I wasn't going to the NFL. So I made this business decision. And, you know, you go, he won. He won. You know, that's what winning looks like.
He won the lottery.
Yeah, that's what winning looks like.
Especially now. I mean, that's what, like, $200,000-$300,000
inflation. That's wild, right?
That's legit the lottery.
And when you hear that, you go, people are like, oh, you're stupid. You should. He goes, listen, I wasn't going to pay, you know, 20, 30 grand to walk onto a team for the next year. The coach was different. You know, I went to a place where I felt comfortable. He ended up meeting his wife there, and you go, it just worked out perfectly.
If you think that's stupid, you're still paying college debt.
Yeah, if you think that's stupid, then
you're just trying to overcome I pay for debt. It's okay. Yeah, no, he's going to make 60, 80 grand a year starting off with no debt.
Yeah,
at 23.
He became a teacher, so now he's
making 30 to 40,000 with no debt at 23. But he gets summers off. Yeah, he gets summers off.
Yeah. So speaking of coaches, you know, Ed Reed.
Wow.
Ed Reed was going to be the coach at Bethune-Cookman, right? And that quickly went bad. So I guess the facts are he was signing off. He signed off on it. The school did not sign the contract and eventually said, you know, he started popping off at the mouth. Ed Reed was speaking truth, right? He was speaking truth to power, saying the facilities are trash. Dion was right about HBCUs. We need to help these programs. We need to increase the facilities, make them better for not only our student athletes, but our students as well.
Yeah.
And BCU didn't like that too much. So they went ahead and said, no, you're actually not going to be the coach.
A lot of, historic is a magical word. So historic is like legendary. It's beautiful. It's also old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's part of the problem.
Aged. Yeah.
Yeah. Historic is aged. It's as simple as that. And I think that so there was a part of me that believed there was a chance that a Dion-led HBCU team could actually be maybe a ranked team one day.
Yeah.
And then I started hearing about the facilities and everything. And shout out to, if you've heard me before, some of my 2 favorite podcasts, The Pivot and I Am Athlete. Mm-hmm. Before they split up between 2 different podcasts, they would talk about it. And Channing Crowder challenged Deion Sanders and saying he'll never be a top 5 school because of facilities. How would Channing Crowder was like, my son's coming of age. He's going to college. Why would I give him subpar facilities, dining halls, dormitories, teachers, coaches, athletes, training room, medical bay, everything just to go play for an HBCU because it's what the culture needs. It's what we need to grow. We need to do our own thing. I am totally for that. Hey, if that's what you want to do, make your decision, go do it. If that is going to make it great, but then you go and it's so insurmountable, which is unfair. Let's be real. If you want to have a level playing field, it's hard to play a level playing field, but it's been so long that this has been going on, it's almost impossible to be fair. But Deion and Ed Reed seem to be trying their best to bring light to it. Guess what, guys? I don't know if people have figured out, you can think of them what you want, but they're winners. They made it to the NFL. They're Hall of Famers. They've won Super Bowls. They've been Defensive Player of the Years, Offensive Player of the Year type situations. They are dynamic. I dare you to look me straight in the face and name me three better secondary players, especially safety-wise, than Ed Reed, and look me in the face and say he's not a winner.
Yeah.
In his era, he was the most feared safety in his era. Ball hawking, bring it to the line of scrimmage. Quarterbacks hated when he got near the line of scrimmage because if he bounced off, he could still pick you, but he was coming for that thing.
Adam Archuleta? No, I'm just kidding.
Archuleta. Shout out to Aeneas Williams and Adam Archuleta.
Jason Sehorn? No, just kidding. Just kidding.
No, but Ed Reed was that.
He was.
And nobody,
smartest player that, again, I think Bill Belichick and Peyton Manning both said, the smartest NFL player that they've ever coached against or played against.
If you hate Deion, it's because he didn't play for your team in his prime. That's why you hate Deion. Because Deion might be one of the, he talks a lot. Yeah. He wins a whole lot. He won more than he talked, and he talked a lot.
I think the Ed Reed situation is amazing because, I mean, the speech he gave last week or over the weekend, I guess it was, hey, I was here. I'm not withdrawing my name as head coach. They are telling me I'm not your head coach.
Yeah.
I'm not withdrawing. I looked at the facilities. They aren't up to par. They're not willing to pump money into it. That's what it's going to take to win. You cannot. Again, it is an unequal playing field.
Yep.
And how does that equitable situation turn out? Well, you need donors. You need wealthy donors because that's what these bigger universities have. University of Florida, UVA, all these other places. Hey, money does, it might not equal wins, but money does equal better facilities and better other things.
Yes.
So I think until that gets solved, I think you need to rally around whatever school you support. Awesome. Talk with your wallet too. And it's these individuals who go on, there's always this thing. Hey, if you go on and do great things, great. But don't forget where you came from and kind of give back to that area.
Yeah.
Give back, stick around, do something with that. Ed Reed's not wrong. He's not wrong at all.
And just to flip it back on Deion real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The number one.
Oh, man.
Cornerback snatch?
Flipped them. Number 2, all right? Number two cornerback in the nation, 5-star flipped.
Let me tell you right now. You keep messing with Deion. I don't want to say it because it's outrageous. If he keeps flipping people and keeps getting recruits, he's going to be right there with everybody else.
I'm going to go opposite. I'm actually going to go opposite of you. And, okay, so he's a great recruiter. I will give him that. He is an amazing recruiter. I still do not think we understand at this level what type of coach he is.
Yeah.
You can have tons of 5-stars. You know what Sauce Gardner was? Best cornerback in the country right now, right? Sauce Gardner.
Yep.
NFL college everywhere. He was a 3-star.
Yeah.
So I think there are a lot of things to go into it, and not just flipping recruits. Now, that being said, Deion's great at recruiting, but I'm excited to watch.
Yeah.
Deion at Colorado and see how they do because I love college football. I'm also excited to see Trent Dilfer at UAB because, again, this is the NFL bloodlines. Get in there. And he's saying the same thing that Deion's saying. I mean, it's not getting any press because he's at UAB, but he was talking about the other day, like, hey, I was watching the championship, Georgia, and going, hey, guys, we play them week 3. Like, this is okay. We need a lot of stuff. We got to do a lot of stuff. We have some immediate things we need to focus on long term. So I'm excited to see the next 2 years are going to be very interesting for Coach Prime.
I will say, mention one thing: the fact that we're going this far into it. What a win for college football. Even Ed Reed right now is a win for college football as a whole. The fact that I'm still talking about it after the national championship. This is the most I've thought about college football after a college football national championship in the history of me being alive.
See, I love
Deion keeps flipping. He's making. I was never not a fan of Deion. I was never not a fan of Ed Reed.
Yeah,
I am more. I would pay people. I would pay money for Ed Reed to sit with my kid for a little bit.
Yeah,
especially after that. I mean,
Ed Reed babysitting. Next time on 3 for 3. Ed Reed babysitter.
Hey, listen, and just to shout out, Ed Reed, you're more than welcome to come on the podcast whenever you want.
Tell your side of the story, man.
We got you.
No Judas is here, buddy.
No. We'll fully represent.
We got Peter, Paul. We got John over here. We got
fresh coffee whenever you want it.
That's it. You and Coach can sit down and talk, and hey, maybe you swap stories, right?
Yeah. Exactly. So let's do something.
I love college football. To me, college football is better than the NFL. I know I'm in the minority in that. I'll debate anybody, anywhere, anytime about it. It's better than the NFL. Mm-hmm. That's fine. You can go ahead. College football is by far a better product. It's a better result. There's more parity, and people say, "Oh, there's no parity. It's Alabama, Georgia." Yeah, great. There's
NIL is making it real.
I think it was real before the NIL, but that's because understanding the money.
Saban had like 5-star lineman after 5-star lineman after 5-star lineman.
When you win, people want to come to your school.
That's right.
It's not Saban.
Guess who's not winning that much lately?
Who's that?
Nick Saban.
Nick Saban's still winning.
He didn't even make the playoffs this year.
He is still winning.
Needless to say, if you didn't watch any of my other podcasts, I did pick them to win the national championship. Again, if you don't know how I roll, then you should figure it out by now.
We do have a couple fan questions this week.
Let's get to them.
So let's see. The first one. This is a great one. Speaking of NFL, Aaron Rodgers came out on the Pat McAfee show and said, "Hey, I still think I can be an MVP. You know, whether that's in Green Bay or in the right situation." Does he get traded?
So I want to. Gronk came out. Did you hear what he said about this? He said, "That's the problem with Aaron Rodgers. He's not trying to win Super Bowls. He's trying to win MVPs." That's a wild take by Gronk, though. There was no preference to that. Aaron Rodgers is
learning how to be. He's learning how to be a analyst.
Yeah,
all right,
it was a great skip. It was a great take. It was wild.
Pulled out his Nick Wright bag right there.
It was horrible. It does not deserve.
That's not. He's not. I don't think he's wrong.
He's not saying he's not trying to win a Super Bowl. He's just saying I'm that caliber of quarterback, and I'm like, that's wild. It's wild. You're just trying to throw shit. You guess what? I'm talking about Gronk now. That's what it did.
It did its
job. It was a shot out there, and it hit. But does he get traded? It's time to go.
Yeah.
Jordan Love. Albie played one.
He's the guy.
Half game.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He looked wonderful.
Yeah, I think
I want to watch Love play.
You know, when everybody was frustrated with Brett Favre, it was because Brett Favre did the retire. Hey, I might retire. Might retire. History repeats itself all the time. We just have to keep our eyes open for it. And now, what do you know? Aaron Rodgers.
If it happens again, and Jordan Love does, I think people really need to take a hard look at sitting quarterbacks for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Just a hard look. Get you a Geno Smith. Get you a Baker Mayfield.
Get a bridge. Build that bridge.
3-4 years.
Build that bridge. For 2 years. Pat Mahomes sat for a year. You know, Josh Allen sat for most of the year.
Pat Mahomes sat for a year. Alex Smith was in front of him. Alex Smith was a great quarterback.
Took him to the playoffs.
He was not good. He was a great quarterback still. Patrick Mahomes is different, though. And they had to let go of Alex Smith because of it.
Tyrod Taylor took the Bills to the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. Get you a guy that, and trust me, if you think that they're mad because they're going to get a 2 or 3 year shot to try to prove themselves, they're not. No, they're not at all.
They're happy with it. Hey, let me show out.
We name 15 to 20 quarterbacks right now that would love to get a 2 or 3 year shot.
Yes.
For you to sit, and I know
Sam Darnold.
You're going to sit C.J. Stroud for 3 years. Yes,
it's what. I mean, look, yeah.
Yes.
Well, 2 years. I think, well, maybe not 3 years. I think it's a year. You sit for a year. You
3
wait.
years.
You wait.
How long's Jordan Love been sitting?
Yeah.
How long?
I mean, I think
it's the Green Bay way. And guess what?
2 or 3 years.
It's 20-something years they've had a top 5 quarterback. What?
Yeah. I think Kurt Warner in New York, right? Before Eli.
No, actually, it's been when was Brett? Because Brett Favre got traded from Atlanta 93,
Sure.
94, 93, 90, somewhere in
92,
the
something
range.
like that.
That's 30. We're working on 30 years of having a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
And most likely for 90% of those years, it was a top 5 quarterback.
They had a
in the
good
NFL.
backup too, Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn, the whole point him going to Seattle was, hey, you're gonna be the guy. We're gonna sit Russ, but hey,
Yeah.
Russ just is different.
Even the Patriots don't have that. Even the Patriots, they have probably the longest run for having a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Period. Active running, and I don't think it'll stop.
Yeah.
Because I think Jordan Love plays. He looked really well. I think that's what I'm saying. It's a system. It seems to be working. It used to work all the time.
Yes.
And now they just gone away with it because you had a couple. Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady changed the game.
Yeah. Playing to the age that they did.
Yeah, when they started out so early, so everybody's like, "Oh, we just got to start them right away." NFL is different. NFL is different from college.
Yeah.
The college is spread more wide open.
I think the
It's
coaching
systematic type of situations that win.
you say in college, coaching matters more
Yes.
than the NFL.
Yeah, by a mile. Because honestly, at the end of the day, you coach all you want, and Patrick Mahomes is going to flip a ball left-handed
Right.
through his legs behind his back
With his eyes
and
closed.
and a guy's going to catch it one-handed and run for 75 yards. And
And the coach says, just like I drew it up.
there's no 3-2, there's no dime, there's no quarter, there's no overtop eagle, there's no 1-1-7. Nothing's going to stop that.
No.
Nothing. No coaching can stop something like that. But in college, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers ends up in Jersey playing for the Jets.
No, shut up. It better
Listen,
not. I swear on
listen, man.
everything. Please,
Listen,
I swear on everything.
that team needs a quarterback.
I can't let the
That
Podfather
team
win
got
this one.
Nat Hackett. Okay, that's
can't do it.
reunion's happening.
I can't do it.
and I can see the Jersey Jets saying, you know what, go ahead.
It would make so much sense, and 100% of the time, moves that make so much sense never happen.
Never happen.
Never happen.
So from one historically great player, Aaron Rodgers, to a historically great organization, coach. Question is, should the Lakers be panicking?
No,
Okay, why?
they are 2 games out of the 6th seed, 3 games out of the 4th seed in the West. They are I think effectively now, LeBron James and Anthony Davis have missed more games. One of them has missed every game all year by number-wise. Now they have played together a couple games, but they've missed games in between and both been out some games. My point is because they're so close,
Yeah.
I really don't think they're that far away. I think they're a couple smaller auxiliary pieces and a healthy away from doing, and you have to go for it. You have to make a trade. You have to make some moves. I can't remember a situation where you're like, oh, they need to make a move, and they're like, well, no, we want to keep our picks. It's not like the NBA has rules set up. You don't trade. You're not trading every pick for the next 5 years.
Stipend
It's
rule.
every other year.
Yep.
We need those picks. You just get a pick every other year. I don't understand. You're not short.
You're swapping a pick with New Orleans this year. So you're going to have a pick.
This isn't the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics stuff no more. They put rules into place. You can't do this. This
Thanks.
is why you do it.
Thank you, Bobby Marks.
Boston Celtics are
appreciate you, buddy.
still doing good for that. They're the NBA favorite because of that.
Tatum, Brown. I think I'm with you, Coach. I don't think they should be panicking. I do think that there's some marginal moves they can make. February 9th, the trade deadline is going to be here before we know it, though. I think they need to do something. I don't think it's a panic move. I think a panic move would be like, forget it, both picks gone. We need somebody. We need Bogdanovich.
Plus minus, what is Anthony Davis or LeBron James like if you put them together and add them separately? So how much plus minus points per game would they equal individually?
So if they were both on the court, how many points are they bringing?
Just one apiece. So like if one of them misses, what is he actually worth to a game? It's spitballing. There's a lot of numbers thing we're throwing here. And we are the facts guys on this podcast, the stat guys.
LeBron is probably, I think he's probably double digit, plus 10.
So 10 points. If he plays, you can
Anthony Davis is probably 7, 8.
Okay, so we'll say let's go low. Let's both say there's 7.
Yeah, that's plus 14.
I can tell you right now with a certainty, they would have won 5 more games and not lost 5 more games and been like this 2 or 3 seed in the West.
Be the 3 seed and everybody.
And we would be
freaking
out about how good their season is.
Yeah.
They would be on every network. They'd be on more TV. They'd be played more on TV than they were before if they were just healthy. My point to that is, if you make a couple trades and they're healthy, and they make it, it's the same old adage what's going on with the Lakers. But guess what, guys? You can call the bubble chip not real. Do whatever you want. They got a ring. It's a banner up there, and you don't have it.
It's real.
If it wasn't real, then why didn't the other teams win it?
It's real. What bugs me is when people are like, it actually weighs more than other championships.
Is it different?
I can't stand. I can't stand.
It's different.
Listen,
but
every
does it weigh
year,
any less or more? No, it's the same freaking thing.
Yeah, every year it's a different type of chip. I hated when people were like, dude, that one counts as 2. Like that, the hardest thing they did. And I was like, no.
Doesn't count as 2.
Not really.
Does LeBron James come back 3-1 weigh heavily more in my mind of like how I affect his legacy and way I look at him? Yes. Is it count as 2? No.
Right.
Because he would have one more chip than he has, and that would be a different conversation for everything.
Maybe.
I think he would take another finals victory over getting 3-1 instead of a loss.
He's got to catch up to Steph.
It's the same as Steph. You don't got to catch up.
Catch up to Steph. Steph's got 4.
He's got 4.
LeBron James has 2 in Miami, 1 in Cleveland, 1. Yeah, man.
The only NBA player with 3 victories in 3 different franchises.
It's true.
Stupid facts elude people when they don't want to look at them.
Is it? Is he the only player with 3?
0. 0 people have
Nobody
that.
else has that.
Kawhi was like, we're winning one in LA.
Players?
He would have tied it. Kawhi would have tied it.
No role players have that.
There might have been a role player or two. I don't know the facts on that. But when I think of like legend, no, there was some role players. I can think of them really quick. Robert Horry comes to mind, I think. Did he ever win? He won San Antonio, LA, and
Houston. He won in Houston.
There you go.
Got 3.
He's got 3.
Robert Horry, better than LeBron James?
Gosh, he's better than...
If Alex was here, he'd be saying like, dude, it's not nothing.
Big shot Rob.
Not nothing. Let me tell you, Adam Morrison makes him relevant.
Adam Morrison.
Makes him relevant. 2 rings.
Shout out to the Stash Father. That's his new name for going on.
Stash Father. Staying with the NBA, the next one we got was, are the Celtics for real? They're the 1 seed. They've been playing well.
Why would they not be for real?
I think that's
more of a question.
Somebody said due to injuries, like, well, this is a lot of smoke and mirrors. What? I don't know.
Marcus Smart's injured.
Yeah, he got injured.
They're still the 1
this
seed.
past weekend. It's Tatum was down.
Tatum was down.
I think on Saturday night they came back and beat the Raptors.
Brogdon was hurt before he came back. I mean, coming back
stays injured.
Yeah,
White's going to get injured.
Everybody gets injured. It's the NBA. I don't. It's stupid.
I think they're for real. I think Tatum's for real. We both know how the Podfather feels about that.
Yeah. He's being a real Lakers fan. He hates the Celtics, and I can't blame him. I don't get mad at him for takes like that. I get mad at him for takes of discrediting players for actual stuff that they're doing.
It's like Tatum taking.
Oh, he's averaging 25 points a game. Oh, he shouldn't be an all-star. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
I mean, he still discredits Laurie Marketing.
Laurie Bird.
He still discredits him for only having one of the best seasons.
That's true.
A Ford has
all-star. Should be all-star
of the year. But you know what? He shouldn't be an all-star. I don't know why.
Jersey sales.
Jersey sales,
It's business, bro.
It's business.
It's business, bro.
Shout out to the Podfather.
Shout out. The last one we got NBA-wise is LaMelo good? Are we sure he's a good? And it said / superstar.
Yes.
Really, Coach? You think he's a superstar?
Yeah. Let me explain, because I do have some.
Because I disagree. I need to be convinced because I don't think he's a.
So you'll never change my mind.
Superstar.
And let me tell you why.
Okay.
There's no part of you that can convince me otherwise.
Okay.
That's what I will say.
It's not my job to. It's his job.
Do you know the reason why?
Because you saw him in person?
Because I saw him in person.
I knew that was coming.
He made a between the leg, off the backboard, alley-oop dunk to Montrezl Harrell in front of my kids, who both love basketball.
Right.
And made my older son more in love with basketball. And I will forever be grateful. So what do you consider a superstar is the question.
I think it's, I don't know where they were going with this. I think this is, can he be a number 1 on a championship team?
No.
Okay. So I think that's, to me, that's the level of superstar. Are you the option, the first option on a championship team?
LeBron James is not a point guard, so
no,
he is a point guard.
Not a 1 as in point guard. Can you be the first option on a championship team?
2 out of 3 people don't believe in position naming basketball. That went out like in the late 90s. Okay. Yeah. People just don't want to let it go because it's how.
Is he a 1? Is he a 2?
Jalen Rose had a great take on this. I apologize if this is your feeling. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm going to hurt your feelings. people who have to use naming of positions are not eloquent enough to describe the game of basketball.
Right.
And that is what it comes down to.
Yes.
So when I say this, I'm going to say excluding LeBron James, the ball handling person of the team.
Yes.
If you want to label point guard, there's only one person I think that is fit in the whole NBA to be a one.
Chris Paul.
No, it's Steph Curry.
To be a one.
To be a ball handling guard and be a one on your team.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's only one person. It would be a smaller person on your team that can handle the ball most of the time, and be the number one. And that's Steph Curry. Outside of that, I don't think there's another person in the NBA that can be the leader, the one, the alpha, the male, the go-to offensively person on your team.
Luka Doncic. There's two.
Luka might be there.
I just think
but Luka's not the small guy on his team, so I can't. I don't even want to say point guard. I want to say the small. He can't be like one of the. But LaMelo ain't small at all.
I know.
So I can't say LaMelo and not Luka. So I'll give you that.
I just don't think LaMelo Ball can be the first option on a championship team. I think his first couple.
It would be a Detroit Piston type setup if it was.
Oh, okay. So
like you would have to have like
Pistons
a great
defense.
single. Yeah, he could be the Chauncey Billups of a team. I'm not saying he is Chauncey Billups. I'm saying he would have to be that type of fixture in the offense. Like he could be the offensive leader. So that's kind of how I figure that out. If I would say so, he could technically be the one, but honestly, there was no one on that team. That was the only way I believe he's going to win a championship as the main focal point.
Yep. Okay. I'm with you there, Coach. I think they need to get other help. I think he's a secondary player.
Yeah.
I think,
and that's how Charlotte's going to have to do it.
He's a great second option. I think, but that is how they're going to. And who knows? Maybe Wembanyama is that first option for him.
But if you put him on a different team,
yeah,
and he's got a Kevin Durant, he's got a Luka Doncic.
He's more Kyrie than he is LeBron James.
And the fact that he's 6'9" and he's wiry and he's fun to watch. Gosh, he would look so good in LA. I keep saying it. He would look good in New York too.
Yes.
Gosh, he'd be a great Nick.
Philly,
and he would fit in so
great
strong.
in Orlando.
You think so?
I mean, if you put Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and LaMelo on a court,
I just think the spotlight's not.
That's
for me. If he's going to leave Charlotte, the
amazing.
Spotlight's got to be bright. Like, bro, he's got
to bright everywhere.
No.
Kevin Durant, James Harden, and
is
Russ
not as bright in
made
Toronto
Oklahoma
as
City look.
The spotlight is not as bright in Toronto as it is as a Laker.
You mean press and pressure?
Yeah.
That's.
But I think he can handle that. He isn't bogged down by the stars. I've never thought it was a real thing until the way I saw him interact with because he was born in LA and I didn't think it was a real thing. But the more I hear people, he's seen all these people. If I walk up on LeBron James, I'm gonna cry. The tear will shed my eye. I will be so happy with my life.
You gonna show him your back tattoo?
Yeah.
It's your face.
I got a tramp stamp of LeBron.
King says King.
My point is if I would do that, I would freak out. I don't know if there's a human being on this world that he would just walk into and lose his stuff. Yeah. But guess what? I can think of a lot that would see him that way.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know that I'd want him in a big market with his family.
Weird take. I don't like his shoes. Not that I don't like his shoes because they look cool. I think they look really good. I have not found a version of his shoes for basketball-wise for my kids that actually have grip control,
it's LaMelo
support, all the things.
Fix your shoes, bro.
Just saying. I'm not being funny. I mean, like, it's kind of hard to beat the Kyrie Irvings of the world, certain Paul George shoes, certain Giannis shoes work well. But there's certain, but even like
LeBron's.
Lane my oldest son had a certain one of Kyrie's, and we had to switch. It was something like, I'm telling you, it's a thing. Like, if you don't think like grips on the bottom of those basketball shoes aren't built differently, it's a real thing. They stop and go. For bigger guys, not so much needed, but for smaller guards that need to cut, that 1 second of pushing power and stopping power is a big difference.
Yeah. Next one. So that's it for basketball. We got a couple baseball questions.
Oh gosh, it's almost baseball season. I'm actually getting excited.
This is actually perfect because Podfather's not here, so we can talk baseball.
Listen, if you're a baseball fan, this is probably best for you.
This is fun. All right. So the big question: should Shohei Ohtani? The big thing is, hey, this is his last year, and then he's got a contract. Should he get $500 million in his next deal?
Yes.
Okay.
Before I start, do you disagree?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say not
Not at all. I think he's the most impactful player in baseball.
Hey, quick hot take. Me and Paul are usually 2 for 2 on most things. Alex brings the rain, the pain, the thunder, and sometimes
Alex is
the coffee
usually
stains.
wrong, and we're the ones trying to convince him. Like, you're wrong, right? You got to know you're wrong.
Yeah, you're always wrong. By the way. Anyways, so a discount for a top 5 player offensively or defensively this year would be around $25 million, 25 million easy.
Yeah, that's your average. Hey,
below 30, you're a great player.
Yep,
you're not him.
Right.
And if you get 29 million for a pre-steroid Fernando Tatis, whatever, the gentleman in Seattle, because
Julio Rodriguez,
until you do it for 2 years in a row, I'm not calling you by your name.
J-Rod, I got you, J-Rod. Don't you worry about.
Unless you play for the Cardinals, you don't get my respect until like I see a little bit of it, because baseball is so finicky from year to year, because you could be that guy and not that guy.
25, 28 million. But now superstars
are 30, 35 million going into 40. Right. He's a 40 million era type guy.
Right.
He belongs in that era. Now, he's crazy good.
Last I checked, Trout just bats.
Yes.
So now you have Trout.
Where comes the thing. So if you got offensive or defense, so now when you combine getting a 2-for-1 type of deal,
both.
Wow.
He's the only player that can lead the league in strikeouts and home runs.
Only problem is when he gets injured, 2 players get injured.
Yeah. That's where you start going, oh, we got to skip starts. But
with the DH going all over the league now, supremely helps his ability to probably get 50. I would pay him $50 million. I am a St. Louis Cardinal, born, bred, will forever bleed Cardinal red. When they turn the courthouse fountain red every year, it's my favorite time of year. And with saying that, when you have the ability, they are a small market team. I don't want to get into the
small market.
Let's not get into the financials. That they got $1 billion 3 years ago. They're a small market team.
So are the Yankees
that want to compete for a championship, but don't try to spend the money to do it. Point is, if $50 million is a ridiculous. I actually think if it's $60 million a year, I would even be like, you know what?
Don't blink.
No, I'm not paying him 10 years.
I think $60 million a year for 9 years. Quick math. That's what, $540 million contract.
Yeah.
I mean, if
I'm the Yankees, I'm all over that. My gosh, Shohei in New York.
I would love to see.
Oh my gosh,
Shohei protecting
Shohei and
Giancarlo and Judge. I'd love to see that.
Shohei and Judge.
Shohei being the number 2 pitcher behind Garrett Cole.
Wow.
Like that. It's to me. You're going to spend. If you want a superstar pitcher, you're going to spend $30 to $40 million.
Yeah.
You want a superstar batter, you're going to spend $30 to $40 million. If I can spend $60 million and I get an extra spot on the roster, now I can bring somebody else in. Wow. Okay. I hate to go Moneyball on you, but it works in the aggregate.
No, it works hugely in the aggregate. And let's just think of it the other way. I'm going to give you a top 10 offense player, defense player for 9 years.
Yes.
For $30 million a year.
Yeah.
And you can almost chop, like, this guy's automatic. He is not often he's been injured, but that was some some non-American stuff that was happening. He needed to have certain surgeries and things that set you up for the modern day times. And he had them, and now he's now he's got him. He's getting them out of the way. I think he's going to have another. The MVP he did not win the MVP.
No, he didn't. Aaron Judge did.
So Aaron Judge had 60 home runs, and he was not really
62 home runs, and it was still a discussion. He broke the American League record for home runs. That has not been done since 1961.
I'm giving him the MVP.
It was a 60-year record, and people were like, he should probably still go to Shohei
because storylines matter.
Yeah,
I'm giving him the MVP. In my mind, he is not the most valuable human being on a baseball team.
No, I think Shohei is definitely the most valuable.
Paul Goldschmidt won it for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Paul Goldschmidt would have came in third in those 3.
And
I'm just saying, it is what it is. You can call it what you want.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani
should get $500 million plus.
Could go down as the greatest baseball player ever to live, and that is wild coming from a true pro-American type guys.
He's modern Babe Ruth.
He's greater than Babe Ruth ever thought about being.
Ooh, easy.
No, shut it up.
Easy.
At 2 years in, I'll take their 2-year rankings. It's the first time. And so Babe Ruth was always the
I think
mythological
Shohei's
giant.
4 years in.
4 years in. At this point in his career, the mythological numbers that Babe Ruth was putting up, I said when I was a kid, they can never be duplicated. They can never be brought back
Never be
again.
another Babe Ruth.
Guess what?
Here we have him.
We have him. And I'm not saying he's having, the rest of the MLB is having 20 home runs and he's having 40. That's not what I'm saying. The fact that he can be top 5 in strikeouts, top 5 in wins, top 5 in ERA, top 5 in home runs, top 5 in batting average. Like,
top 5 in RBI.
That's just, those are Wayne Gretzky. Those are Tom Brady Super Bowl wins. Those are Babe Ruth home runs. Those are Ricky Henderson stolen bases.
Yep.
Those are Bob Gibson have to raise the mound type situations. That's Steph Curry 3-point altering the game type of situation numbers. They don't happen often, and shame on America for not giving it more credit.
Absolutely. If he played in New York,
If he played in
LA,
he would be crowned. He would be crowned.
And before you idiots start saying he does play in LA, they play for the no.
He plays for the B
shut up.
team.
He plays for the Angels.
If he played for Irvin Magic Johnson, he would be there.
If he played in Dodger Blue, it would be.
I would hate him because he could take chances of
it's-
St. Louis. But he plays in the Angels, and so he's great because he doesn't affect me.
Now, somebody who did last play in Dodger Blue is our last sports question until we get into a couple life questions. Where does Trevor Bauer end up? Bauer outage. You know, he was a Cy Young candidate before, all this stuff went down.
2K-ish, Madden-ish, or MLB Live, the show, whatever the young kids are playing. Whatever. Sorry to my kids because we play the actual game. Bauer is the guy you pick up first.
He's just a different dude. He's a different dude. He's an odd duck. And you know what? He's gone viral the last couple of years on all the.
Have you watched any of his stuff?
Oh my gosh, he's hilarious.
Do you watch his stuff?
Yes,
I was going to say, I actually
he
love
is
his stuff. I don't know if you've ever
hilarious.
watched it.
Trevor Bauer's hilarious. That whole crew, the baseball boys, are hilarious.
I love the King of JUCO.
Oh my gosh.
Is he not hilarious?
He is.
I love him.
Going yard.
He's so fun to watch.
Going yard, baby.
And they talk so much trash, and they're so awesome at it.
Listen, where does Bauer end up? Because I hope we have a UCLA reunion in New York with Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer, but I don't think they like each other, so it's not going to happen.
It would be perfect if it was.
It would be nice. I think he ends up on your team.
I don't think so.
I think he does.
See, I said I want him to, because what other? Listen, so I don't know if for any of those that doesn't. If you're not that big into baseball, you're not going to understand. The Cardinals' magic wand is getting low hanging fruit and turning them into something, but
and then re-signing him for peanuts on the dollar. Hey,
unfortunately, though,
it's just.
Unfortunately, though, this is what we're going to see. So, two things. The Cardinals have a horrible year. It's good. Cardinals have a great year. It's good.
Yeah.
If they have a great year, they have a great team, way to go. Cardinal way prevails. If they have a horrible year, it's great. You want to know why?
It's okay.
Because it completely raises the value of what Yadier Molina meant to the Cardinals.
It's always next
He
year, right?
might have been that magic fairy dust that nobody talks about.
Yeah.
And so, I looked at stats. Mm-hmm. The stats for the Cardinals that they are at least 30% lower ERA when Yadi's catching the ball. Having a catcher, and Wilson Contreras is a lot of things. He is not that dude.
No.
He offensively is by far completely trumps what Yadi is.
There's not a catcher in baseball that was like Yadi, though.
No. And so the game managing aspect of what they had goes away. The fact that they lost Mike Maddox the same year that they lose Yadi. Yeah. I don't know if Mike was hiding behind Yadi or if they were just like, let's get rid of him and just start out fresh, because they honestly need a whole new aspect and a whole new understanding of what the situation is, because losing Yadi, you lost way more than one player.
Yeah.
With that being said, the idea of having the ability, we don't have a number one. We have guys that can be number ones for about 5 or 6 games a year. But they're not a true number one. Bauer is the only player left out there.
He's a legitimate
that's a legit number one.
Yep.
Unfortunately, he did some very horrible things.
Yes.
Fortunately, though, and fans like me and you, I believe in redemption. I believe in the ability to show your player. You've done bad things.
He's been gone for the last 2 years.
The courts have done their thing. You've paid a lot of time in debt in society. I totally, like Michael Vick hated the fact that he did things. Once he paid his debt to society and things like that, I will not continuously punishing this human being for doing what he does. Because guess what? All humans make mistakes.
True.
We are made this way.
Yep. That's it. So I'd say he ends up in the car at St. Louis, where if you could guess anywhere.
If I could guess anywhere,
yeah,
I'm going to do the Podfather take here. I'm gonna give like 2 or 3
7 different
answers.
ones. That's a good one.
I don't want to. So the Yankees would be like where I'd want him to go.
Okay.
Because I think that with with him, with Judge coming back, they would look good there. But I think that you got to look at these winning hungry type franchises. Philly,
Cleveland.
I don't even think Cleveland should go in this route.
I think you could go
Texas,
back.
Texas might be a place.
The Rangers, yeah.
Because they signing the players
Houston?
they did. The Mets would be an amazing place for him.
Yeah.
Mets need somebody. So Philly, that whole division is kind of crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta picked them up. I mean, those 3 guys were there. They're willing to do anything to try to fight the Dodgers because they always look at the Dodgers, and this is why I don't mind the Cardinals being where they're at. They never look at the Cardinals. And the Cardinals were still one closer injury away from beating the Phillies and then really taking control of what it would have been. But we won't get into that because they didn't.
Bryce Harper getting hot, too.
Yeah. I think they would have nullified that Harper
sneaky,
thing.
underrated place. We just talked about Shohei. I can see the Angels saying, you know what? You want to stay in L.A., do your thing, continue to make your videos, do your stuff. That's fine. I want you to stay right here, buddy.
Yeah. But where he should go, the best fits for him, New York and St. Louis. Yeah. The Yankees and St. Louis seem like the best destinations. Where he's going to go is a team that's thirsty. Yep. They're hungry. They want something. I could also see him. Maybe he might go the route of going completely quiet and going to a different type of franchise where he can make a real big impact. The White Sox seem like that type of situation. Like that. Toronto, something like if
Baltimore. No, just kidding. They're not going to Baltimore.
Nobody goes to Baltimore. Who is the last major player to go to Baltimore? I said major.
Chris Davis.
I said major.
Yeah. Adam Jones was there, but he didn't go to Baltimore. Ubaldo Jimenez.
A major.
He was a major. He went there and then completely fell off a cliff.
The moment he wore a Baltimore Orioles jersey makes him not a major player.
Terrible person.
Who's a major player?
Yeah, I told you, Ubaldo Jimenez.
The best major player they've had ever is Adam Rushman.
No. Cal Ripken Jr. has been the best player ever.
Oh, I mean, like last 20 years.
Recently, yeah, being drafted.
This era.
Hey, you're forced to. I mean, we're drafting you to come to Baltimore.
Speaking of, didn't they get Holiday?
They did.
Sergeant Major. We're gonna.
Sorry, Dad.
So we're gonna go. I'm gonna go in real fast. I don't know if you know, and if it's not real, I hope so. If it is real, the thread I read was Holiday was like, "It's okay. I'll play for this trash team for a couple of years until my contract's up, and then I'll go play for St. Louis the rest of my." I didn't say it.
Kids,
but I will own it.
It's a thread out there. We'll see if it's true.
I don't know if it's true or not. If it's real, that's wild, and I'm not sorry for it.
Do you know what they do in Baltimore though, right?
What do? They lose
crab cakes and football.
Do you know the difference between? Do you know the difference between the Yankee Stadium and the Orioles Stadium in October?
Yankee Stadium has the lights on and people on it.
They still sell hot dogs.
Camden. No, they have watch parties at Camden Yards.
Watch parties.
Dave Matthews is playing at Camden Yards. That's I'm sure.
Any other wild Baltimore takes we can get your dad mad at?
No. Well, maybe.
Yeah, there's always some.
All right, so the next one, we got some life questions. What's the best game watching food? You know, it's coming up. We might have a food draft.
Wings. No, they're so messy. If I'm watching a game, it's got to be like quick and fast. I don't want to get messy. I enjoy wings.
If I'm watching the game, I'm not touching the remote, so it is.
What
wings.
game am I watching?
I think it's so you think it's indicative of
because if like football takes a break every 5 seconds. So you have the ability to wipe your hands off. You have the ability to enjoy a bite.
I'm eating while I'm watching. You might be doing it wrong.
I just might have too much going on, and being a perfectionist of it, like I don't want to drop anything anywhere because I don't waste my food.
You don't want to get fussed at. That's what you don't want.
No, it's not fussed at. I don't waste my bites.
Yeah,
I want all the bites.
All the bites. I think it is wings. I think it's extra crispy. If you're going to like B-Dubs or your local wing place, hey, I want extra crispy. Okay, and don't do the sauce on the side. That to me that's stupid. Sauce on the side is dumb.
Who are you?
Me?
No.
Paul Nelson.
No, them.
I don't know
what are they.
People who say chips and dip I think chips and dip's overrated.
You think it's overrated?
I do think chips and dip is overrated. I think it's a lazy sports game food.
I don't know. I could spend a lot of time making a dip.
I think that's great. I mean, to me,
It's not really that lazy as much as I put a lot of time into it.
I think it's a lazy game food because it's, hey, here's your 3 kinds of dips. Awesome. Great. I got to worry about people double dipping. I'm not about that life.
Yeah.
I think pizza is a great game food. Get several different types of pizzas. Throw that. It's all in one. You don't have to worry about it.
In the pizza game, pizza tostino, the pizza rolls.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
It's for kids.
Phenomenal.
It's all in one.
Yeah.
Yep.
For especially game day,
you're gonna burn the roof of your mouth and just suffer through it the rest of the time.
Any grown up that's not starving will wait.
Pizza rolls,
and they will pop 30 of them in like 45 seconds. For the kids, they burn their mouth up and die. We watch and laugh. But game day wise, they're also pretty great because I'm also about just like ability to keep watching and not dying. And I think they can be dipped when they get that great temperature.
Yep, that's
mini hot pockets.
It's mini hot pockets. They are. So that's what's the worst game day food?
Worst game day food?
Yeah.
Ribs.
I think anything. See, I was gonna go anything that you have to
spend so much time.
Like steak. Like people are like, yeah, we're gonna steak. I like burgers. Burgers are underrated.
Steak is an event in itself.
So I think ribs is the worst game day food
because it's just so steaks can be eaten and enjoyed, but it's such an event by itself. I don't feel like you can kind of tell our socioeconomic type situation going on here. We're not wealthy rich. I'm not enjoying. If I'm hitting a steak, I'm enjoying a steak by itself. I don't want to watch a game and eat a steak. It's too much stuff going on. I just want to look down at my food.
Steak. This is me and the steak.
I want to make love to the steak.
Well, not really, but
no, not really. But like mentally, like I want to enjoy the juices and the flavor and the hemoglobin, and I just want to go. I want to go all the way with all the seasonings. I want to taste every salt, pepper, garlic.
To me, it's why Thanksgiving is a struggle. Because am I focusing on eating or am I focusing on football?
I think we power eating.
Yeah.
I actually, you know what? Football, Thanksgiving Day football is a great thing for all day. But for that 30, 45 minutes I'm eating, I could care less about the game.
So
Guess what? The game's still going.
You're focused on deviled eggs, Coach. I know that.
I got game plan. I'm executing. There's 4 NFL games. One of them is my mouth and my tummy are executing offensive plays on the banquet.
Tummy's a good one. We're keeping score today. We definitely have some points for Tummy.
I'm executing a game plan on the food, and for that 30 or 45 minutes, I could really care less what happens. I might talk about it. I really don't care. I'm eating, and then after that, I got like 8.5 other hours to watch football, and that's where I think that's what makes it great.
Last question: who is the best? I don't know if you've seen the new TV Dad commercials with Reginald Val Johnson.
I saw like 3 or 4 seconds.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. So who's the best TV Dad of all time? Ooh. I have an honorable mention, and then I think I have the right answer. Honorable.
Wow.
Honorable.
Wildly taking the reins on this.
My honorable mention is Mr. Matthews from Boy Meets World. Just a solid dad.
Voice of reason.
Worked at a grocery store, worked his way up, became manager, played a little music on the side, always had great advice.
I have my favorites.
Stood up for Sean, and then I think I have the best answer. Let's see if you have it. No, you go ahead. I want to.
Okay, so
go ahead, Coach.
I'm going to go more on my favorites that kind of helped shape my childhood more than what I think is the best.
Okay.
The Will Smith's dad.
No, not dad.
Well, his uncle, but it was his dad. They helped raise him.
That's who I have as the winner. Uncle
really?
Phil. Uncle Phil's the best TV dad.
So he helped. Like I love that. I will say. Another one was Tim Allen.
Oh, Home Improvement.
Home Improvement was great.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
My dad is so I think there's different types of dads. There's strict dads. My dad was a funny dad.
Yeah.
And Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Robin Williams type of guy. Just funny and brought comedy into life. And my dad was a comedy type of guy.
Yep.
Sports, comedy.
Same.
Different things like that. So I enjoyed that. I found, but one that's completely underrated.
Al Bundy. No.
I love Al Bundy, but no, he's not on this. He should never be on this list for best TV dads. Is on Roseanne.
Oh, okay.
I forget his name.
Okay.
Because I did
Dan Goodman.
Dan Goodman,
the dad for
Roseanne.
Tom, right? Wasn't it?
Tom. I think it was Tom. And because he was
that's a good one.
Wildly intelligent, He had really good takes. Like and the character was meant for that.
I think it was
a common force. Dan
Connors.
Dan Connors.
Dan Connors.
And he was wildly intelligent in certain moments. He was a calming force. He was a good parent. He helped bring the whole family together.
Yes.
It's what dads do. We're dads, so we're kind of a little bit.
Yes.
We could say we're a little bit experts in this situation. And so I like him. I still probably rank Uncle Phil a little higher.
I think Uncle Phil's probably the first.
I relate more to the Tim the Toolman dad. For having my own type of dad. And then I always enjoyed watching Roseanne growing up for this. So I would say those are my 3, and I listed them 1, 2, 3.
I also had Tywin Lannister on this. No,
what?
I'm just just kidding. No,
gosh.
Tywin Lannister, great father. Great father. He allowed his kids to grow up. I mean, let's face it. 2 of his kids became Hand of the King, Queen.
Yeah.
Royalty.
He's up there with
there's some questionable decisions.
Real life dad, big baller brand.
Oh my gosh, he's an idiot.
He's the big baller brand. He's the big baller brand type of situation.
No, listen, Tywin. He was better than Eddard Stark as a father. Let's just say that, okay? But that's it. So that's what we got. Maybe we'll have a TV dad draft.
Gosh, I think we got a couple. We got a couple small drafts from this.
Yeah, we do.
We have a couple segments from these questions. Good questions.
We go ahead. Check us out.
I can't wait to get Alex on some of these.
I can't wait to hear what we did wrong. He's gonna be like, "Let me tell you, bro.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what you guys got wrong. How did you neglect this? How did you forget about that?"
I can't wait to see. I think that these fan questions are going to be great for him to actually comment on.
He's gonna be like, first of all, you guys suck. Second of all,
first segment next week should be him responding to
Alex
these.
responds.
Yeah.
Alex catches up. Podfather, the return of the Podfather.
That's what it
Podfather,
is.
Part 2 coming up.
Dun dun dun.
Well, make sure you guys subscribe, you like, do all that stuff. Follow us on social media: YouTube, Anchor, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, as the kids say, Spotify,
the Graham.
And remember,
keep your stick on the ice.
Maybe Coach Bombay. So for Frank, Coach LaFada, I'm Paul Nelson, and don't make us mad. You'll just end up like Greg Roman, fired on the street looking for jobs.
We got